we have to discuss about the properties of the budget line. First property is downward sloping. Same as the indifference curve, and the same reason, due to the inverse relation between the consumption of good X and the consumption of good Y. But here the reason for this inverse relation is the income. There it was the total satisfaction, here it is the income. Suppose you increase the consumption of good X, it means you need to spend more on X. So you have less money left to buy Y. Thus you will always be in a position to buy lesser units of the good Y if you increase the consumption of good X, right? So if a question is asked, you have to explain all this. It is due to the inverse relation between the consumption of good X and good Y, and the reason being this. This also you have to explain that if a consumer increases the consumption of good X, then less money would be left to spend on good Y, thus its consumption would fall. Now the second property, that it is a straight line. Again we know that this shape, straight line, convex or concave, depends on the slope of the particular curve. And straight line curve is formed when the slope remains constant. Right? Slope does not change. Now why we have to again, the slope of this budget line is known as MRE. That is marginal rate of exchange, right? And it is again defined as how many units of one good need to be sacrificed to gain Okay, so here MRE is defined as the units of one good which need to be sacrificed to gain one additional unit of the other good. My objective behind writing this definition was just to recall to you all, just look at the definition of MRS. It is the rate at which the consumer is willing to sacrifice one good to gain one additional unit of the other good. While the budget line slope MRE is the rate at which he needs to sacrifice them. It means it depends on the prices of the two goods. Okay, it is simply the ratio of the prices of two goods. For example, if price of good X is 2 and price of good Y is 4, right? And you want to increase the consumption of good Y by 1 unit. You want to buy 1 extra unit of good Y, then it is clear that you need to decrease 2 units of good X, because you require 4 rupees extra, which will be available if you decrease the consumption of the other good by 2 units. 2 2s will be 4 and you can substitute the good. So it is simply the ratio of the prices, right? It can be written as Px upon Py or Py upon Px, X to Y or Y to X. Like here if I write, it will be 2:1, that is Px upon Py will be 2:1, right? It means if you want to substitute, increase the consumption of Y by 1 unit, you need to substitute 2 units of good X. Now why this remains constant? This remains constant because here the price is assumed to be constant, or you can simply say that the consumer cannot decide the price of the commodity. The prices are decided by the market and not by the consumer. Numerically also we can understand. If we mark various combinations, Again, simply just you have to keep this gap constant. Suppose I am doing it, reducing it by 2, constantly reduce it by 2. And it simply means that the MRE is 2:1, means 2 units of the good Y is required to gain 1 unit of good X, right? Means the ratio of the price is 2:1. Okay, so if you are asked that why does the Y's budget line is straight line, so you have to mention that it is due to its constant slope, that is MRE. Then you have to explain the meaning of define the MRE, and then you also have to tell that why it remains constant. Okay, so and remember that the budget line can shift if the consumer's income or the prices of two goods are changing, right? For example, I just let you know one small example. Say the income of a consumer is 100, same we take. Price of X was 4 and price of Y was 5, right? Should always draw a straight line. You can use a scale to draw a straight line. It would be 25 and 0, or simply 25, and this would be 20. And any point where consumer is consuming, the income would be always be equal to 100. कौन सी वाली बता रहा है यार, मैं क्या बता रहा था?